Hey everybody, this is Captain Fool reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy. Alright everybody, for those of you that know the drill, I go over a bunch of comic books for the week that I chose to read. Now I didn't have time to read everything, so if I missed something you think I should have read, let me know in the comments below. Also, you may disagree with me on some of my choices. If that's the case, that's alright. Let me know below. Let's just try to keep it civil. My goal is to bring back the old schoolyard days, where we would be in discussing what hero could beat who or what comic book was good and not. And I come armed with my trusty notes, so you'll hear the paper rattle because I do it a little bit old school. I do my grading on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average as a 70%. So I'm using schoolyard grading. But that's not all. I also use the League of Comics Geeks to give you other people's views as well as a brief overview of the comic book as well. So let's jump right in. Welcome back everybody to the weekly comic book review. I greatly appreciate having you all here. So today we got some good books, and well, we got some books that would just say they need to be taken out to the firing range. Yeah, because there's some pretty crappy ones. Well, got my notes, you're going to hear those. So let's start with Blade number 10. League of Comics Geeks said 73 out of 76 liked it with a 4 average rating, which I thought was a lot higher than it deserved. I gave it a 7. I really didn't think it deserved near what they put in there. Well, anyway, the writer is Brian Hill, artist is Elena Casagrande, which I probably butchered anyway. But we have Blade versus the Adana, round 2, fatality. The Adana already ruthlessly defeated Blade once, but now Blade is leveled up, if you will, all these powers, and he fights, that thing again. And the final fight, and this is the final fight, and it's the final issue of this series. Yeah, they're already cutting this one off. It has mediocre art. To be honest, it's a rather anticlimactic finish as well. But we will get more Blade, if you're a big Blade fan, in the Blood Hunt storyline crossover, which I'm not a big fan of all these crossovers. I get it to try to get you to read other books and things and try to drum up popularity. But with the current way they've been treating Blade, we'll see. Maybe it'll be okay. I didn't care for it enough. I can't say this series made me go, I gotta get Blood Hunt. I gotta keep following Blade. I don't dislike the character, don't get me wrong. It's just that, it could have been a lot better. Now, I will say this week I do have some, I'm going to save one for the end here that you want to definitely stick around to. How the heck did they screw that book up? But before we get to that, let's talk about another book that was a series that's been screwed up. And DC can't seem to write this character right. And this is Power Girl issue number 8. 60 out of 86 liked it with only a 3.1 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. Not real great. The writer's Leah Williams, penciler is Eduardo Penskia, but everybody, just so you know, in case you're new to the channel, I butcher all names. Okay, it's not anything mean intended. Anyway, I gave this book a 6. Yeah, a 6. After unexpected attack by Brainiac, because, we got that whole Brainiac thing going, and his army of Lobos, everyone who has power in Metropolis has been kidnapped and imprisoned. But fear not, our hero has avoided capture and is the lone super in the city of helpless villains. Well, just to be honest, she's not really, but she ends up being. Let's discuss that real quickly. This book has better art than last issue. The cover's okay as well. Nothing spectacular, but there is some really good alternative covers for this book. Power Girl is left off the main going event here. Superman's like, hey, we need you to protect the city, which is pretty much saying, hey, I guess you're on the D team, which I guess for her is sort of fitting, right? It really is a mediocre issue. There's too many panels wasted at the beginning of her trying to roller skate as well. The art's a mixed bag. It just really isn't enough here to make you go, wow, we got to continue this series. The last story arc was not good, and this one continues to not really start off with a bang. I mean, why, if you want to propel this character and make the series sell, maybe put her as more of an integral part of the big storyline with Brainiac rather than we're going to sideline you. They just keep treating her like a D-list character, pun intended. That's why I gave this book 6 and 10. I can't see a reason to keep reading this series for anybody. It's definitely not a time to be jumping on the book as well. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by my wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get. Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out, we have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies, possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you, everybody. And let's get back to the video. Now, a book that's a bit better, though the last couple of issues haven't been quite as good, but I still think the series has been good, is Green Arrow, issue number 11, where 120 out of 126 liked it with a 3.8 rating on average rating on League of Comics Geeks, and I think that's pretty fair. I gave it a 7.4 myself. We have the writer Joshua Williamson and the artist Phil Hester. The Emerald Archer versus Merlin in a final shootout. Not really. They don't completely fight here, but we're going to get more, and I do like a few things about this issue. Merlin has manipulated Oliver Queen. Yeah, well, not really, because Oliver's going to do what he wants. And the Arrow family is involved in this, which is pretty cool, but we don't see much of them in this issue. But what we do get in this issue is we find out the connection with Waller as well as Merlin, and we really do dive into more on Merlin here, and I enjoy that. I think this book has good art. It's nice, really nice insight into Malcolm Merlin here. And though, think about this, though, and if you haven't read this, I'm going to tell you, the last page in this issue makes 0 sense. Green Arrow knows that these people popping up are not his real family, so he would have no problem fighting it, but the last page makes it sound like he doesn't want to fight them. Really doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's just to get you enticed to read the next issue, probably, because anybody should know that. As I said, I gave this book a 7.4, not its best Green Arrow issue, but it's not a bad issue either. So Green Arrow fans should continue to be happy. Now, one that I find disappointing, and a series I've been continuously disappointed with lately, especially since we switched teams, and that's The Flash issue number 8. 84, though, out of 100 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 3.6 average rating. The writer is Simon Spurr, artist is Ramon Perez. Where is Wally West? The stillness prayers have been answered, and with the help of some very familiar to Wally West, someone, yeah, the next stage of their plan is enacted. Meanwhile, where's Wally? And, where's Waldo? Where's Wally? And what has the resident done with him? Okay, here's the thing. I gave this book a 7. Mediocre art. Okay story. I think it's better than the last one we had so far. Waller is really going off on the deep end here in these books lately. They're really trying to do a lot with Amanda Waller. And I hope that this title is going in a better direction, because the previous storyline was just a convoluted mess. And this has potential to be a little bit better, but I don't think it's enough. I think it's going to be hard to, with this team, I just don't think they can hit the same quality levels as we did in the last team. Now, I'm going to jump to a different company. We're going to look at Daredevil issue number 8, where 97 out of 100 liked it with a 3.9 average rating. I gave this book a 7.4. That's pretty darn good. Writer Solomon Ahmad, I butchered that name. Writer Ty Templeton as well, and he's also an artist for the book they put in there. It's a special oversized issue making 60 years of Daredevil. That's true. It's a big one, but you're going to have to pay the price. Is it really worth $9.99 for 88 pages? Think about that. That is a lot of money, especially when these oversized books are usually the regular amount of story pages and the rest are short stories and little things here and there that don't matter. So it's up to you. Is it really worth the bucks? I don't know. A dragnet is closing around Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. Police on both sides of the law are hunting him. Something vicious and deep connection to Matt's very soul is hunting his friends, and in the midst of the chaos, an old friend with the blood of Matt's closest allies on his hands returned. Yep, we do get some good stuff. The main story art is good in this book, okay? There's no doubt about that. But the story is incredibly predictable. Absolutely predictable. The second story is just an advertisement quickly for another book. The third story is a cute little story in this. The fourth story is another decent little story. The fifth one, we get That's probably really where the fun is on this one, is the fifth story. So I want to talk about that really quickly. We get a flashback story with Frank Castle, the Punisher. Yeah, the real Punisher. And he's in his real outfit, not the stupid new skull crap. And Marvel, I think, is testing us a little bit here with Frank. Maybe they want to see what our reaction is. I hope more people step up and say, hey, give us more of this guy. This is the guy. But let's be honest, this is Marvel. Probably can't do it anyway, because they would chop their nose off and spite their face. And the last story with Elektra is okay. But anyway, in this, we got Matt Murdock working with Elektra. You get the flames going between them. We're going to see where this is going to go, because, you know, Daredevil's got a different type of life now. Will things change? I think this has been interesting. So Daredevil number 8, 7.4. If you're not a Daredevil fan, you probably won't like it. But if you are a Daredevil fan, I would recommend checking it out. Now, the next book I want to talk about is one that I was really on the fence with last time I reviewed the last issue, and that's because this book has potential to go incredibly woke. And the sales aren't there, so we're not going to see this series continue long, that's for certain. And that's Night Thrasher number 3. 18 out of 18 liked it, with a 4.3 average rating, though, on League of Comics Geeks, where I thought that was really a high score. I gave it a 7. As I said, though, with that low of numbers of people reviewing it, this book cannot possibly be selling well. The creator-writer is Jason Holtham, and the artist is Nelson Daniel. Night Thrasher versus Silhouette. Yes, in the wake of the battle with the OG, Night Thrasher is caught between the forces of law and order and some of his oldest and closest friends. Dwayne must find a way to help keep Harlem from exploding into violence, even if it costs him everything. So after, for some reason, he fought the OG and fought his buddy Rage, which is no longer Rage, but under a different name, he decides, oh, he shouldn't have done that. He comes up with, crime is crime. I understand he's taking care of kids, but he was doing it the wrong way. But it is what it is. We got, of course, the old traditional cop is bad, but this time it's interesting, cop isn't white. So that's a nice thing. It's a good art style in this book, and this book continues to have good pacing. But once again, Marvel always loves to paint the police as villains. Now, in this issue, they are clearly overreaching with their power. They're clamping down and putting curfews in the area, but they have massive crime issues. So what do? I don't know the answer to that. And I think maybe that's why it should be, and it's sort of nice to have Night Thrasher being sort of a little conflicted there to begin with. But I don't know. This book continues to teeter on. Any second, it's going to be giving us a lecture. So I gave it a 7. I don't think it's going to be enough to keep Night Thrasher going. I think this series is going to end quick, but it is what it is. The next one I want to talk about is one that better not end quick. It shouldn't, they ought to make all these ongoing at this point. And that's Duke number 5. It is a fascinating, good book. It continues to be a great series. 164 out of 164 liked it, with a 4.5 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. That's great. I gave it an 8.2, and it takes a lot for me to give those higher 8s there. Writer is Joshua Williamson, artist is Tom Riley. Codename G.I. Joe is finally here. Yes, towards the end, we get to see G.I. Joe's coming. Duke has been betrayed by his allies and hunted by new enemies. The time has come for Duke to start fighting for something bigger than his country. Well, thing is he's discovered Decepticons, but doesn't really know what they are, and he's trying to find the source. And then he finds out through the new getting formed G.I. Joe that they are aware of this, as well as other robots. Duke has now a vendetta against all these things, which is a little misguided, and I think that's going to be part of the fun of the story too, because he sees a picture, he gets shown a picture of Optimus Prime, he's like, I'm going to take all these robots down, because he doesn't really understand the situation entirely. Good art, great story. This is definitely a must-have for any G.I. Joe fan. The plot continues to move forward in this issue. It is wonderful. Matter of fact, if you're not a G.I. Joe fan, you still might like this. If you're a Transformers fan, you probably would like this. I strongly recommend checking it out. Speaking of recommend checking things out, I recommend checking out the Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. Matter of fact, go back and get all the issues. Yep, Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. Look at these numbers here. 618 of 631 liked it, with a 4.5 average rating. Holy cow, I haven't seen that many people review a book on this website in a long time, which tells you people are excited about this series, and I think they have every reason to. I gave it an 8.4. Writer is Jonathan Hickman, which usually I think is convoluted in writing. I don't care for it. I think he drags things out too much, but I'm digging this. And the artist David Messina. I'm going to tell you right now, This is a must read for people. Who is the Green Goblin? Peter Parker's secret life starts frying at the edges of his personal life, because now he hasn't told MJ he's Spider-Man yet, but one of his kids notices that he is, which is great, but also the Goblin knows, and that's the good one. and it's a nice talk and discussion here. It really is. This is another solid issue, even though it doesn't have a lot of action. It's interesting in how, in the dynamics here. There's a table meeting with two couples eating, Peter and MJ, and then Gwen Stacy. Yeah, Gwen Stacy and his friend are together in this. So that's pretty cool. Solid issue. This is so much better than the current Amazing Spider-Man series by far. I mean, you should use the Amazing Spider-Man series currently right now for heat or wiping your butt. Or, yeah, wiping your butt while reading this book on the toilet. I don't know, whatever it is. Book has been good. It's got interesting characterization, solid art. If you are a Spider-Man fan, this is more traditional Spider-Man, even though it's completely not, than what we're currently getting in the Amazing Spider-Man series. Now, since I talked so much about that and dog the Amazing Spider-Man series so much, let's actually dive in and talk about it. The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 48. 91 out of 122 liked it with a 3.4 average rating. Just to let you know, this is actually higher than this series has been. It's been on a little bit of an upswing. Yeah, that doesn't say a whole lot. This is Spider-Man, the traditional Amazing Spider-Man book. It should be one of the top sellers at all the time, and it is still a little bit high there, but it did take a beating. Anyway, we have writer Zeb Wells and artist Todd Nowak. Sorry, dude, I butchered it. We have Peter Parker versus Ben Reilly, a little bit, sort of, kind of in this issue. Spider-Man finally gets a rematch. Not really. There's a lot of talking. Meanwhile, what's going on with Norman Osborn? Yeah, it says only 2 issues left until Amazing Spider-Man 50. I'm counting and maybe we'll get a new team, because this team just isn't doing it. I gave this book a 6.9. Yep, a 6.9. It's good art with this guest penciler. I give it, that art was a big hit there for me. The story, though, is completely lame. Hopefully the next story will be setting us up for something better. But I still cannot recommend this series to anybody. Get the Ultimate Spider-Man instead. I'm sorry, but what they've done to Ben Reilly, they just... I know they're trying to separate him, keep him. I think to make him a new character, because, you know, different outfits and things. You could do more with the character, maybe make a movie with him, who knows, or whatever, if you make him different enough from Spider-Man. But it is a bad idea. This book is filled with bad ideas. Hey, we got to get him out of this chair and get his memories back, but it really isn't going to get him his memories back. It was just, the whole thing is dumb. Not a good series. Skip it. There's lots of other reviews available on this, and I suggest you not just take my word for it. Check some of them out. Speaking of which, I want to do a shout out to one of you. You want to check one out? Check this one out. It's Tiva Smolka. I always butcher names. I'm sorry. It's Tevya space Smolka. Check out his website. He did a review of this book, or a rant. He always does these rants, and I always like them and enjoy them, and I try to support my fellow creators here. He's one that you should support. He does some good stuff. So definitely check that out. The next one I want to talk about, because we're getting close to my big rant here. So the next one I want to talk about, though, is the Avengers issue number 13. 95 out of 98 liked it with a 4 average rating. Okay, fair enough. I gave the book a 7. I thought that was actually higher than it deserved. But anyway, we have the Jed MacKay writing this one, and artist Francisco Boy, I can't speak today. Mortario. Sorry. Well, you can check that name out for yourself, because I'm just going to butcher it. Avengers versus the Stark Sentinel program. Yeah, we're still dealing a little bit with that because of Orcus. The Counter-Strike puts the Avengers on the back foot as the true extent of the Stark Sentinel program is revealed. Can Earth's mightiest heroes stand up against this? So now here's the thing. This is the end of this story arc, and it's really not a great ending. They spent this time making 3D Man actually a little bit of an interesting character, because he's been pretty lame, and he's still lame through this, don't get me wrong. Character's lame, but at least they've given him some reason to be around, and he's all anti-Avenger now because he felt left out. But we find out that 3D Man never really went bad. It was all part of a plan with Black Panther to infiltrate this, and to me, it seems like a really cheap way out. A really cheap way. It's like, okay, we want to make sure this character's a good guy, and maybe they can spin it to an arc and put him in the team and make 3D Man actually something, because he's always been a bit lame. I don't know, maybe the next story will be better than this one, but this ending really flopped. I couldn't give this book any better than a 7. There is some decent alternate covers for this issue. Nothing super spectacular, though, that makes me want to run out and get it. All right, it's rant time. Yes, rant time. How can you screw up a book this bad? Ready? Are you ready? It's Jackpot and the Black Cat #2. I mean, what team is putting this together? Where is your head? You're a bunch of crazies. We have 25 out of 48 liked it. So already the numbers are dwindling. And we're almost half the people's all liked it. And they gave it a 2.8 rating on League of Comics Geeks, which tends to give, I think, high scores. I gave this book a 6.5. Yeah. We're gonna, oh boy, this book, I tell you. The writer is Celeste Brofman. Artist is Emilio Laiso. Okay. It says much of New York City is out to kill Mary Jane Watson, including Black Cat with a question mark here. There's something sinister going on, and all ties to classic Marvel villain with ties to our co-stars. Okay, first of all, looking at the cover, that cover is stupid. Just dumb. Who is that going to attract? Okay. The art in this issue was okay at the best, I could say. It was okay. This is a wasted opportunity. I'm sorry, but you've got two characters that are notoriously known to be incredibly good looking, and they're not drawing them very well that way. Okay, who's this book for? I know some people might go, well, you're just being a chauvinistic pig or blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, come on. We have MJ, the model, and we have the Black Cat. This is Spider-Man. Fans love these characters. Now, we don't love MJ as Jackpot. That's dumb, right? I think I'd rather have her just as MJ and working and learning the skills of the trade, maybe with Black Cat. It would be better. So we got a dumb character's powers and a pairing here. And the story is just not good either. Not good at all, with this group that's controlling people through this app by blackmailing them and threatening them. And then we find out at the end that Black Cat is involved in it. Yeah, I know Black Cat is a shifty character and things, but I'm sorry, she would not do this to MJ. It is completely out of character. Yes, she's a thief, but she usually sways to do the good thing. And she would never do this to MJ, because even if she's maybe not as close to MJ as she is Peter, she would never do that to Peter Parker. She would not hurt him by doing something like this. That would just makes zero sense in this book. The only thing I can think of is that she's going to double, do another sway. Haha, I was infiltrating all along. But that wouldn't make any sense, because she never clued MJ in on it, never helped her with that. It makes absolutely no sense. The action in this book is also incredibly silly. We take a character like Black Cat, which you could make some really good action panels with because of her skill set, and we get garbage tier action. The Black Cat and MJ deserve better than this crap. What are you doing? How did you screw this up? I mean, seriously, you take two characters that are loved in the Marvel Universe, and you found a way to screw it up. Bravo. This was a pairing that people have a lot of potential to enjoy, and you found a way to drive them away. 25 of 48 liked it. People aren't gonna, issue number 3, I can only imagine how many people are even gonna bother reading that. You need to really pick up the pace here and do something to save this. This next issue better have a fantastic cover to draw people in. And every page in that book better be drawn great and actually have a decent story. Celeste, you better step it up, because this was crap and the art wasn't worth a darn either. It really just wasn't good enough for the issue. Ooh, this whole thing is a mistake. That's my rant. I want to know what your thoughts. Did you check out Jackpot and the Black Cat? What do you think of the Jackpot character? I think it's just a terrible thing to do to MJ in the first place, and I think this is a waste of the Black Cat's talents, but hey, that's me. And this is Marvel, you know what to expect. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Take a moment and thank these people. Without them, this channel wouldn't be possible. They are as amazing as always. I tell you, they have been nothing but spectacular to me. Some of them have channels too. Check them out. Check them out on social media and stuff. They're good people. So let's try to enjoy this thing together, even though we have gripes. Just, you might have heard me just gripe and stuff, but I still try to enjoy my comic book experience as much as possible. So maybe share a comic book that I should be reading. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and until next time, keep it frugal.